So I appreciate you being with us. I'm going to talk about a couple of concepts. You can call them inside secrets if you want, but it's something that you really don't hear people talking about, and it's something that's really made a tremendous difference for us in our business over the last 30-plus years, and I'm excited about it. I've got some ideas and some things I want to share with you just to kind of set this up a little bit. But I appreciate you being with us. Your time is the most valuable asset that you have, and I don't take that for granted, the fact that you've chosen to spend some time with us tonight. The one thing that people should always ask, and we've tried to teach this for years, is you should always ask yourself, who is this person and why should I listen to them? I know for me personally, if I'd asked myself that question, there's many times when I could have saved myself a tremendous amount of time, energy, and effort by just asking that question. I understand that a lot of you that are with us tonight maybe have been on our newsletter that we've been doing now for over 15 years. Prior to that, we had a printed newsletter that many of you were subscribers to. So a lot of you know us and know our background and know our story, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time, but I know there's some people that don't. And basically, I got involved in the network marketing industry when I was 20 years old. My first 3 years, it was the most frustrating thing I'd ever done in my life. I wanted to pretty much quit every day, but back then, you didn't have all the options that we have today in the marketplace. There wasn't all the home business opportunities that you see. That seems like we're bombarded with today. Back then, 1980, there wasn't a whole lot. And I was living in a small 600-square-foot home and driving a beat-up Chevette. And in my mind, if I didn't do it, then I didn't know what I was going to do. I couldn't justify spending the rest of my life building somebody else's dream. And it was like I really didn't have any options. I had to make it happen, had to make it work. And after about 3 years, some things started coming together for us. And, you know, long story short, I feel like my claim to fame is it took me longer to make a $100,000 income than any network marketer I've personally ever met. It took me 10 years to get to the $100,000 level. I actually went from 90-some thousand my 9th year to about 270-something thousand my 10th year, but it took 10 years to break that barrier. But my 11th year jumped to over $1 million, and my 13th year, my income was over $3 million. And a lot of things, and a lot of time, energy, and effort we put into putting our team together really came together as duplication started happening with leadership. And, you know, as leaders started duplicating in my organization, then everything started coming together. And so that's the short story. I was very lucky because when I got involved in the industry, I was young. I was 20 years old, and I didn't have a lot of preconceptions. I didn't have a lot of misconceptions. I didn't have a lot of baggage. I was kind of just a blank slate. And all I really had was the determination and the belief that if other people had done it, then I could do it. And, you know, I was smart enough, and all of us need to be smart enough. There's some things we can't do. There's some professions that require God-given talent. You know, I would have loved to have been the next Michael Jordan, but, you know, quite frankly, I didn't have the God-given talent. So there's a lot of things out there in the marketplace. There's professions, there's opportunities, there's businesses, and in some of those businesses, it just takes a God-given talent and ability. And some of us have those talents and some of us don't. But in network marketing, when I came in the industry, I mean, all I had was just determination. That was it. I didn't know anything about anything, but I was willing to learn and open my mind and just move forward however I could. So I was a blank slate when I started. And I was fortunate because I was working in corporate America at IBM, and at that point in time in my life, the job that I had allowed me to carry a Walkman around and listen to audio cassettes for 8 to 10 hours a day. And that's what I did for 3 years. My first 3 years in this industry, I literally, every single day, there wasn't a day went by that I wasn't listening to tapes for 8 to 10 hours a day. And I don't care who you are, if you're listening to any kind of tapes for 8 to 10 hours a day, you're going to learn. Whether you are trying to or not, just through repetition, you're going to learn. And I guess the thing that I finally learned after about 3 years was just not to fight the way it is. People are frustrating, they're aggravating, they'll tell you they're going to do something, they don't do it. They say they're going to show up, they don't show up. They say they're going to be on a call or a webinar, they aren't. They say they're going to be in an event, they don't show up. And I just learned to not fight with the way it is. The two biggest realities that people get when they first enter the network marketing industry is, number one, that people will lie, and number two, that the work ethic in this country stinks. People get started and they don't do anything. They sit on their couch waiting for $100 bills to start flying out of their distributor kit. They don't even make an effort. And so you learn these things, and over time you start to learn not to fight the way it is. And I don't care who you are, if you're listening to programming cassettes for 8 to 10 hours a day, you become kind of warped, and everything becomes, people call it warped. I call it clear. It becomes real clear. It becomes very black and white. It becomes non-debatable. It's just after. If you put that kind of much information in, from knowledge in, from people that know what they're talking about, after a while you can figure out who knows what they're talking about real quick and who doesn't know what they're talking about, and everything just gets a whole lot clearer. So after about 3 years, things really started coming together for us. And I actually joined the industry in '80, and I'm not going to give you all the statistics here, but in '83, we put together our first, what we call unified duplicatable training system. And in '85, because of that system, because of the very unified, very duplicatable system, we were award winners in the company, top 5, the youngest coordinators in the history of that company. And and that's all fine and good. But the real neat thing was the next year, 2 of the top 5 award winners in the company were frontline to us. So it wasn't just the fact, and I've never looked at success in this industry based upon what I can do. It's always based upon what can be duplicated and what your people do. It's not about how much income I make or you make or any particular person makes. It's about what can be duplicated. And that's where my focus has always been, is on building a team. And, I bought into the concept. You can have anything in life you want if you help enough other people get what they want. And, Zig Ziglar talks about that. We've all heard that if we've been around this industry very long. But there's very few people that really believe that. And I totally bought it, hook, line, and sinker. Forget about your income, Dale. Help other people create their income, and your income will be taken care of. So, long story short, after we put together our first system and we started systemizing everything that we were doing to make it unified and duplicatable, then, success started at some level or another. It's like in '86 and '87 and '88, I was making $60,000 or $70,000. I wasn't, getting wealthy by any means, but I was able to leave my job at IBM in Lexington, and I was getting a new car every 2 years from the company and going on a nice vacation and making $5,000, $6,000 a month, but I was still trying to continue to move forward, and I had to continually refine what we were doing. And then, like I mentioned earlier, my 9th year thing started coming together. My 10th year really started coming together, and then in our 11th year we broke the $1 million a year in income barrier, And it was really, at that point, it was kind of simple, because all the training and everything, all the philosophies had come to a point where we had leadership that was duplicating. And, you know, the hard part is to get your organization to duplicate, to get distributors to duplicate, because distributors are a revolving door. They're coming in one door and out the other. But if you can ever get your organization to duplicate, then over time your leadership will start duplicating. And, you know, bottom line, we were able to make millions and millions of dollars in income. We lived the dream. We had our own company at one point, and then in 2000, I just pretty much had other interests, other business interests, other things I wanted to do. I retired in 2000, and then when I did that, people started calling and they said, Dale, we'd like for you to come and speak for our organization about distributor retention or lead generation or whatever, and it created a whole entirely new business that I'd never really planned on. And that's what I basically was doing and have been doing since about 2000. And then in 2010, I saw a unique opportunity. This is only a couple years ago. And, you know, I decided, you know, I got a wild hair and decided, you know, I'm going to build again. And went back into the field and you know, went to the top position in the company in 90 days and started doing everything that we'd been teaching and been doing for a long time. And, you know, I knew a lot of people, and 39 people that I personally knew actually enrolled with us, but we were averaging sponsoring over 17 people a month our first year every month, and we were doing it from the lead generation methods that we were teaching and have been teaching, you know, now for a long, long time. So that's kind of a little bit about our background. And what I want to do tonight, guys, I just want to share with you some really, really important concepts, and then I want to share with you the two insights that nobody's really talking about, and I think it'll make a difference. I know a lot of you've probably read the book, Why the Masses of Network Marketers Are Frustrated, Confused, and Don't Have a Clue What They're Doing. And that was probably one of the first booklets that I ever wrote. And I wrote it out of frustration, because I just saw so many people at the time this was written. There was just so many people, it seemed like to me, that were just not getting the direction and the support that they needed in the industry. And the industry was rocking when I wrote this report, but it was like, we're not going to continue to really rock and move forward if we don't start teaching people the foundational principles that it takes to build a business. And so I wrote this book out of frustration, and the basic concept here is network marketing companies and organizations have been built by what I call 3%ers, 3% of the population. And these are people that go out with their God-given talent, skills, abilities, and work ethic, which is not normal. They have above-average work ethic, determination, confidence, and they're able to go in the marketplace and create a following. These are key words here, guys. 3% of the industry, of the population, are able to go into the industry, go into the marketplace, and develop a following, but based upon their just natural skills, abilities, and work ethic, and a lot of good stuff that they have. Most of us can never get through high school with the self-confidence and the self-image to do much of anything by the time we make it through school, and that's a whole nother subject that we talk about at a later time. But the bottom line is network marketing has been built by 3%ers. And the problem with that is most people involved in network marketing are 27%ers, and there's some 70%ers sprinkled in there. 70%ers don't last long. But 27%ers need a different type of direction, a different type of training, a different type of focus than 3%ers. 3%ers bob and weave. They have the ability to just think on their feet and bob and weave and create a following. And 27% of the population need very specific step-by-step instructions, and they need everything to be systemized. 27%ers are awesome people. They're good, honest, hardworking people. They're willing to take responsibility. They want to move forward in their life. They want to make a difference for their family, but they just need a different type of direction than most 3%ers. And the rub, the challenge in the industry is most people teaching people how to do the business are 3%ers. And most people listening are 27%ers, and 27%ers need a different type of direction than what most 3%ers needed, and therefore what most 3%ers can teach. And 70% of the population is going to die with their music still in them. They're going to sit back and blame their spouse. They're going to blame the government. They're going to blame their boss, their family. They're going to blame everybody except the person staring them back in the mirror. They'll never take responsibility for where they are in their life. That's 70% of the population. I'm not going to change it. You're not going to change it. The network marketing industry is not going to change it. That's just the way it is. So you're going to build with the 3%ers and the 27%ers. And the sooner we realize that, the easier this business becomes. The other thing that I learned early on in my career is asking myself the question we started off tonight, and that is, who is this person and why should I be listening to them? And what I found out early in my career, especially as it relates to network marketing, is just because somebody is making $10,000 a month. They're making $10,000 a month. Did not mean that I necessarily needed to listen to them. Just because they were making $10,000 a month didn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything in the network marketing industry. And most people say, well, Dale, you're crazy. Why would you say that? The people that are making $10,000 a month in network marketing are a dime a dozen. I mean, they really are. And there's hundreds. I could sit here and in the next 30 minutes make a list of over 200 people, easy, that at one time were in the network marketing industry making over $100,000 a year that today are not even involved in the industry. Now, that's sad to me. How can that happen? How can somebody get involved in this industry, build an income to $100,000 plus, and not even be in the industry today, not even be involved in the industry today? But I've met hundreds of people like that over the years. And, so the secret is not, again, it's not about what you can do. It's about what can be duplicated, and it's about what your team can do. And the real secret is not about building your income to $100,000 a year. It's about developing six-figure earners on your team. It's seeing this a whole lot bigger than most people are seeing it. And it's the steps that you do early ultimately determine where you want to go. That's how, my income went from $92,000 to $273,000 to $1.2 million to $3.3 million to $3.8 million in a 4-year period. It had nothing to do with those 4 years. It had to do everything that went into those 4 years, the 9 years previous. Every philosophy, every idea, every concept of duplication ultimately is what created that. It didn't happen by accident. And I know you guys are taking notes. This is something that's really worth writing down. And this is something I've never really talked about before, but throughout my career there was 3 filters for MLM systems. And it was like, if something did not make it through these 3 filters, then it's immediately kicked out, because long term it's not going to be of value. And there's 3 filters when you're putting together systems for your people. And the first is what I call the wisdom of the ages. And the wisdom of the ages are direct principles that come from books like Think and Grow Rich and The Magic of Thinking Big and Psycho-Cybernetics and the Bible and Success Through Positive Mental Attitude and What to Say When You Talk to Yourself and a lot of the other classic personal development books, because they teach the wisdom of the ages. It's the same today as it was 30 years ago when I started, and the wisdom of the ages will be the same 30 years from now. It doesn't change. It's constant. It's just the way it's set up. It's the way it is. And to fight that or to try to work through that or around that, long term, it will not do you any good. And you see a lot of people trying to fight the wisdom of the ages. And, you know, you've seen it in this industry for years and years and years. You know, way back in the 80s, everybody was saying, you know, you do 10% of, we do 90% of the work, and you keep 100% of the check. And all this stuff where they're trying to appeal to the mediocrity in people. And we see that online. We see that every single day in different markets where and, you know, in the internet marketing world is notorious for telling people, you know, sit back, be lazy, push this button for this magic software and see your PayPal account overflow with cash. I mean, that message is everywhere. It's not your fault. It's somebody else's fault. They didn't tell you this. You didn't know about that. It's the guru's fault. It's your upline's fault. It's somebody else's fault. And, you know, they just contradict the wisdom of the ages. So everything has to go through three filters. Wisdom of the ages. Can it be duplicated by the masses? And then does it focus on developing leaders? Because if it doesn't go through those three filters, then ultimately, long term, it's not going to work in the network marketing industry if it can't get through those three filters. And those of you that have, you know, been on our newsletter and been around us and worked with us at some level over the years, the one thing that you've always gotten from me has been a very consistent message. It doesn't change. You know, it just doesn't change, because what we do, what we teach is based upon these three factors. It's based upon the wisdom of the ages, it's based upon the duplication factor, and it's based upon ultimately the game plan of developing leaders. And everything goes through those filters. So it creates a very consistent and back to the kind of warped or clear, however you want to look at it, black and white mentality about this business and what it takes and how to develop people. It's very black and white. It's very clear. It's very consistent. And it's the same message over and over and over. It's just how to help people internalize it for themselves. Next concept I want to share with you, and this is something that's kind of bothered me. I wrote an article about this, I think 5 or 6 years ago, and the name of the article is, "Are Baby Boomer Network Marketers Becoming Extinct?" Because if you've been around this industry as long as I have, you know and I know that the things that you could do, you know, in the mid-'90s to build your business, to try to build it at that level with that amount of work, today it's not going to work. And the bottom line is, the numbers have changed. And what I mean by that, I see a lot of baby boomers that at one time were having success in the industry, doing well. You know, they've got the gift of gab. They've got a little bit of sales ability. They're just good people. You know, they're fun to be around. And you could there was a time when, you know, that's all you needed to really build a network marketing organization. Today, those people are trying to get through the same amount of people that they went through in the mid-'90s to create the same types of organizations and incomes, and it's not going to happen. We have to get through more people today than at any time in history, and that's why, you know, my focus really the last 10 years has been on lead generation. And a lot of you, you know that we're always testing and different lead generation methods all the time. And so baby boomers are having a tough time of it today in this industry because the numbers have changed. And you have to understand that if you're a baby boomer, you have to understand, well, Dale, I've been doing this 15 years, and it's like people don't want to work anymore. No, there's people out there that want to build businesses. There's people that are sick and tired of being sick and tired. There's people that want to do better in their life. But you have to know how to attract them in today's marketplace, and you have to get through more people than you've ever had to get through to find those people. But all you have to do is drive by any night college, night school, in any major metropolitan area, city in the country, and you're going to see those parking lots are full of people that want to do better. Those people should be involved in our industry, but unfortunately they still haven't got past the point, they're trying to get a better job, and like there is such a thing. So we have to understand there's still good people in the marketplace, but they've been approached 1,000 times, 1,000 different ways by people that didn't know what they were doing. So there's a lot of things. We have to get better, and we have to become better to be able to perform now and in the future. If we still try to do everything the way we've always done it, the marketplace has changed. The people have changed. When I started in an industry, there was 3 TV channels. There was no such thing as the word infomercial. Now think about it, guys. Infomercial is like a lot of these, how to get rich in real estate, or how to get rich doing this, or how to get rich doing that. Infomercial is part of our language. There's a lot of things that have changed, and there's been a lot of baby boomers that did it with the skill sets they came in with. They never really developed new skill sets or new understanding, and today they're getting left in the wind, and it's sad, but it's true. So again, I'm just trying to give you some things to think about. When I came into the industry, it was really built upon you build people and people build the business. And that's the way it always has been, and that has never changed fundamentally from a reality standpoint. But a lot of people totally miss that whole aspect of the business. They think it's just about generating leads or new ways to create leads. And really, when people say create leads, what they're really thinking is, how can I do something where somebody calls me with their credit card in their hand begging to join my business? That's what most people's idea of a lead is. And that's not a lead. I mean, that's unrealistic is what that is, but that's what people want. And the reality is, if we build people, people build the business. We all must perform in accordance to our program and in accordance to the realities. And that's the truth. I mean, that is the wisdom of the ages. We taught people that it's a 3 to 5 year game plan. And now we're in a marketplace where if somebody, we're trying to, you see people every day trying to teach people how to make $10,000 a month their first month. And that's totally 100% unrealistic. And we give people such unrealistic expectations, and all we're doing is setting them up for disappointment and ultimately failure. When I started, there was no such thing as front-end load companies. And a $10,000 first month income was absolutely unheard of. And you can promise yourself today, if somebody's making that type of income, there's only 2 things possible. There's only 2 ways possible that can happen. Is number 1 is they had a large following of people, a large list or a large following of people, or number 2, they're involved in some type of front-end load program. That's the only way it's going to happen. So there's a lot of people out there making big promises that are just totally unrealistic. Network marketing's always been, for me and for a lot of us, it's been a personal development program with a compensation plan attached. And we teach people things, truths, realities like the law of averages and leadership development, and that the real product is not a skincare line or a nutritional line or a wealth training program or prepaid legal services or insurance. The real product in this industry is people. That's your product. And if you get good at working with people and leadership, then you'll build a tremendous organization. You know, I've told people for years, quit reading books on vitamins and herbs and start reading books on leadership. So, you know, teaching people how to develop the right attitudes and expectations towards success and building people ultimately is the way to build this business. And again, you know, this is kind of stuff you guys have, again, you've heard me talk about for years. I want to share with you something that's really important for people to understand, because I think the peak of network marketing, the peak was 1995. And in 1995, there was dozens of companies. There was all kinds of people and all different companies, all doing really well. The industry was booming. Success Magazine comes out with a whole full spread on the industry, and we create millionaires. And you know how the industry was just exploding, and it was awesome. I mean, a lot of us were right in the middle of it back then, and you know, there's really nothing that's changed. It's just our approach has changed, and what we're doing and what we're teaching have changed over the years. As it's gotten more and more competitive, we've become more and more unrealistic with people. And then in '96, I call it the paradigm shift of '96. And what happened in '96? It was the first time in history where you could actually go out and focus on recruiting people that have already been involved in the industry. And I want you to think about this, because this is important, that you really get this clear in your mind, because '96 created a major paradigm shift, because it was the first time where there had been enough companies in the industry and enough people involved in the industry where you could actually focus on recruiting people that had already been in the industry. I mean, prior to that, you know, every time you were sit down and you were showing the home business opportunity to somebody, every now and then somebody would say, well, is this like Amway? Okay, but network marketing, today the word network marketing or MLM is as common in the general population as Amway was in the early '90s. So it's, you know, it's changed. And again, I mean, every time I speak, I get people sometimes upset, and I'm not trying to upset anybody. I'm just saying, if you're going to win the game, you got to understand how it's played, and you have to understand the market that you're playing in. You know, you can't play it the way it was played 10, 15 years ago. And no, internet is not the answer. It's one way. Attraction marketing is not the answer. It's not. It's teaching people the skill sets and the mindsets that create success from the wisdom of the ages, like Think and Grow Rich and the magic of thinking big, and on and on. And you know, in the mid-'90s, you know, I did a whole cassette on this called Network Marketing is a Scam. I got death threats over this. I mean, it was ridiculous. And but those of you that have heard that cassette, it was saying, look, guys, we have got to quit telling people that we're going to do all the work and they can keep all the income. We got to quit telling people that, you know, we're going to pay you 45% on your second level and you're going to get rich, you know, with 13 people on your team. And we got to tell people the truth. And about the same time, I also wrote the article that you see there. It's called Inspire Greatness or Cater to Mediocrity. And I show you this, guys. This was written in a publication just for company owners and corporate network marketers. And I said there, I believe this industry has to return to our roots of personal development, personal growth, and we must create a culture that inspires our people to learn, grow, develop, and become all they can become. And, you know, obviously nobody read that because it certainly hasn't happened. But, you know, again, I've been on the same bandwagon for years, and the thing that you've gotten from me over the years has been consistency. And, you know, when we sit back today and we look at what's really happening in the network marketing industry, the focus changed from teaching people and learning the proper skill sets and mindsets and developing leaders from within our organizations to buying leads, and for the first time, again, we could start recruiting each other. And, you know, so you saw companies like a ProStep was the first one, and we, telling people what they want to hear, that you can just call leads and build a team. You don't have to, what do they like to say, chase is the word, chase your friends and family. And if you're chasing friends, anybody, you're doing it wrong to begin with. But, started telling people, hey, you can buy leads. And buying leads has never been the answer. It's not the answer. But you saw this whole change from telling people what they want to hear instead of teaching people the foundational principles that have always created success and always will create success. So there's been a major change. And today, this is what I basically see, is you've got a guru and there's some kind of backroom deal that's made. And, we all know that's going on, and I've never participated in that from any standpoint, from a company owner standpoint or from a distributor standpoint. And there's not a month goes by that somebody doesn't, offer me some kind of deal if I'll join XYZ company. And I don't do it. I never have, never will. I don't believe in it. If you're good enough, you don't need a deal. If you know what you're doing, you can go to a company and build it, and you don't need a deal. If the company's good enough and the opportunity's good enough, then why should you need some kind of special deal to go build it somewhere and bring a bunch of people where maybe that opportunity's not in their best interest, but they're following you because they believe in you. So if it's not good enough for you to go out and build, then it wouldn't be good enough for anybody else to go out and build, is my feeling. But I know this has kind of become the norm. And there's a backroom deal, and this person has a large following of people and some leaders mixed in, and they go to their people, and their people have a few followers, and then these people have a few less followers, and these people have even less followers, and then these people have nobody. And this whole process can take about 90 days. So they get their people, get their people, get their people, get their people, and then these people here have nobody to go talk to because they've never been in the industry. The whole thing stagnates, and then this person or one of these people jump into the next hot deal, and the whole process starts all over again. And then about 90 days it stagnates, and then somebody jumps to another deal, and it's just a constant flow like this. And you guys have seen it happen if you've been involved in this industry anytime at all. Nobody's building anything significant. It's just get in now, or your people are going to join, or they're going to leave, and you know the game. And it's just a big game where nobody's really accomplishing anything. Network marketing done right is different than any other business because it requires not just skill sets but also mindsets. And most people do not have the mindset to build a network marketing team because it's a very frustrating business. It's the most rewarding, but it's also the most frustrating business in the world, especially when you first start. And as your mindsets grow and your skill sets start to grow, then your success rate grows. But, there's a lot of businesses we can jump in. I can be a plumber and go to school and get my license, and I can be negative or have a terrible mindset, terrible attitude, and I can still be a plumber or own a restaurant or a lot of other businesses I could be involved with, and it doesn't matter what my mindset is. In network marketing, with the wrong mindset, you're destined to failure. There's no way that you're going to even have a chance at making it. You can have all the skill sets in the world and know how to generate leads from now to the cows come home, but if your mindset's not right, and if you're not if you're not focused on people the right way, then any success you have will be short term. And I've seen it happen over and over and over the years. So again, it requires skill sets and mindsets. Most network marketing leaders are really good people, but they're usually missing a few pieces of the puzzle. And it's what you learn after you know it all that ultimately takes your business from, instead of 6 figures a year, to 6 figures a month. And it's really not that big of a difference. I think it's harder to make $1,000 a month in network marketing than it is to make $10,000. And I think it's harder to make $10,000 than it is $100,000. In reality, I think it's harder to make $100,000 than it is $1 million. the $1,000, it's harder to make $1,000 a month in network marketing than it is to make $1 million a month. Because if you get to $1,000 the right way, and you're teaching the right things, and your focus is on the 3 areas that we talked about earlier, then $1 million down the road and 10,000, 100,000, that's all going to happen. It's all going to progress the way it should if you get to $1,000 the right way. If you get to $1,000 convincing and talking people into joining you because you joined them in the last 3 deals they were in, nobody's going to get anywhere. So if I ask you, I said, what are the skill sets required to build a network marketing business, and what are the mindsets? If you would, just take a minute, just type in anything that you want, just where you can, hopefully I've got it set up here, guys, where you can type in a message or type in an answer. I don't know if I do or not. I very seldom ask attendees to do this, so I don't know if I have it set up or not. Yeah, I think I do. So what are any of the skill sets, mindsets? Okay, Debbie said prospecting. James said using the internet. Debbie said setting goals. If you guys want to type in, I'm going to take a second just see what your all's opinion is here. Okay. Okay, I'm getting a few. All right, I got to keep moving forward. If you look at it, guys, prospecting, local lead generation, marketing your product, these are just some of the things I wrote down. Marketing your product or service, the 3-foot rule. If you have to do, if you're going to do it right. I hate the 3-foot rule, but I can do it, and I have done it. I've sponsored people, but it's by doing it right. It's not by throwing up on people. It's by creating curiosity. Online lead generation, how to get new members started right. You know, what are the first steps you do with a brand new person? What's the second? What's the third? What's the fourth? When they quit doing it, what do you do? You know, there's just so many things. Using proven recognition programs, how to identify and develop leaders, dealing with negative distributors, building for events. When you look at mindsets, we can talk about goal setting and the law of averages and how to maximize that, and time management and leadership skills and handling rejection, handling fear, listening and communicating with people, getting people to move forward with their own personal goals and reasons, and the list goes on and on and on. There's so many different skill sets and mindsets that are required to do this business, and there's a lot. It's not like 1 or 2. See, most people's idea of training, when people say, well, Dale, I need a network marketing training program, what they really want is they look at it like a traditional business. I mean, if you own a sandwich shop or a tanning bed, you know, if I owned a tanning bed, I could hire somebody that had a good personality and probably in 30, 40 minutes, maybe an hour, teach them what I need them to know to work in my tanning bed or my sandwich shop or my restaurant or whatever. You know, that's training. It takes about an hour. You know, you always ask, do you want fries with that? You know, you say, welcome to Starbucks. What can I get started for you today? You teach them specific things. They learn it, and in an hour or so, they've got it. And people, especially people that come in this industry from traditional business, that's what they're looking for. But my gosh, guys, you look at these topics here. I mean, prospecting, how long is that going to, I mean, that's not something you can teach in an hour. How to get people started right or creating retention systems, you can't teach all this in an hour or 2. I mean, this is it takes a while to learn this and learn it correctly. And it's not just like traditional business from that standpoint, and it's frustrating because people want something real easy, something real simple that everybody can do and everybody can make money and everybody's going to join, and it's not out there. And anybody that tells you they have it, they're lying to you. And yeah, I know there's people telling you it's out there, but I promise you it's not. And so we have to get past that. And I asked myself, why do most network marketers not have the proper mindsets and skill sets? And there's several reasons, but I mean, I look at people that have been around this industry for a long time, and they aren't even close to having the right skill sets and mindsets. And I think, you know, there's some of the reasons. Number one, it's a voluntary army. They can't be fired. See, I can fire you if I put you on the drive-thru at my Starbucks, and you keep saying, howdy, welcome, glad you guys are at Starbucks, glad you came to Starbucks instead of McDonald's. You know, if you aren't saying what I give you the script to say, if you aren't saying, welcome to Starbucks, what can I get started for you today, if you don't do that, I'll give you a chance, I'll give you a second chance, and then you're out the door, you're fired. And that's the way it works in traditional business, but in network marketing, we're glad just to have somebody order on their auto ship this month, so we let them go around like a chicken with their head cut off, saying and doing things that we know won't work. The truth is only 3% of the population can do network marketing with the skill sets and the mindsets they enter the industry with. And when I say do it, I mean build it to $100,000 a year. I'm not talking about 6 figures a month. I'm talking about 6 figures a year. Only 3% of the population can build it to that level with the skill sets, mindsets, credibility, work ethic, with what they enter the industry with. And the problem is, the challenge is that those people that can do it are not duplicatable because they're doing it with what they enter the industry with. And man, if you get with that, you get what I'm trying to communicate tonight. It's just so important that we understand that if we're going to build a big business. You know, and a lot of people say, well, Dale, I got 10 years experience in this industry. I had a guy call me, why do I need your training? I'm looking at this Confessions of a Network Marketing Millionaire online, and, you know, I've been doing network marketing 10 years. Why do I need your training? And I just said, well, you don't. Thanks for calling. You know, I don't have time to mess with that. I mean, okay, you've been doing it 10 years. And, you know, but there's a time when I would have said, well, what's your best income to date? And so you've not become a millionaire? No. Well, do you think you could learn from somebody that has? Well, maybe. Well, if you do, then you should order it, and if you don't, then you shouldn't order it. But the reality is, when people tell me they have 10 years experience or 15 years, they don't have 10 years experience. They got one lousy year repeated 10 times. That's what most people have in this industry. They have one mediocre or lousy year that's been repeated over and over and over, because most people, if you look at people that have been in the industry 5, 10, 15 years, have they grown? Are they better? Are they moving forward? Are they the same person trying to do it the same way they've always done it? And what you see a lot of times in this industry, people trying to learn, I call it trying to learn algebra, and they haven't mastered addition yet. They're trying to learn advanced prospecting systems, and they haven't learned how to create a lead in their local market, and they're trying to, you know, they're trying to expand their business into Germany or something. And they missed it. They're missing pieces of the puzzle. A lot of times people think because we hear something that we know it, but hearing it is different from applying it. You know, most people hear, agree, and continue to do what they've always done. And people tell people what they want to hear. I mean, most people, you know, and again, there's so much of these topics, guys, I could spend an hour on. But, you know, most leadership has been dumbed down in this industry to a ridiculous level, because somebody is afraid that if I tell somebody what they really need to hear, then they're going to drop off their $39 auto ship next month, and it's going to affect my income by $2.50. And there's a lot of people that really feel that way and think that way, and because of that, they'll never come close to achieving what they could achieve in this industry because they're not inspiring people. They're catering to mediocrity, as the article talks about that I showed you guys earlier. So the other thing that I see a lot is people teach at the point that they have their own personal success. So when they start having success doing this one particular little thing, then they start teaching at that level, and they never go beyond that. And you know, everybody's idea of success is different. You know, we're in an industry now where a lot of people's idea of success is, I'm not losing money. I'm making $200 a month. You know, not $200 an hour, not $200 a day. I'm making $200 a month. I'm not losing money, so therefore I'm successful. And the idea of success in this industry today is not what it used to be, and it's really come down a lot. Now, I'm going to share with you the two things that I've never really talked about at the level I want to try to communicate tonight, and it's something that people just don't talk about. But when I first got involved in this industry, you know, every now and then you'd go to a Denny's at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, there'd be 40 or 50 people in a back room somewhere, and you knew that was the Amway people. And the Diamond had come into town, and, you know, they were staying up all night at the Denny's, and it was just fascinating to me. And, you know, there's so much about Amway that I love. I really do. And, you know, everybody has a different opinion on Amway. I have said many times that every college graduate should be required to go to get involved with Amway for 2 years, not for the money they'll make, because they're going to spend $5,000 or $10,000 on seminars and training. You know, they're going to have a $5,000 or $10,000 write-off, but just for what it will do for their attitude and for their personal development if they'll take it serious. And so I was always fascinated. And the one thing that Amway has always done, and those of you that have been involved with it at some level at some point, and it's become the training ground for the rest of the industry, was they do the Tape of the Week program. And those tapes, you know, I understood the power, because when I got started, again, just from boredom almost in the beginning until you develop a hunger for it, I was listening to tapes 8-10 hours a day, as I told you guys when we started. And some of you know what I'm talking about when I say that you develop a hunger for it. And when you develop a hunger for it, then it starts to change your life. And there's a lot of people that got involved in Amway who never made a dime, but went on to do great things in other businesses and other areas that will tell you it was because of the personal development and the personal growth that they got when they were involved in Amway. And I've seen that, and if you've been around the industry very long at all, you've seen it too. There is something about audio and tapes, and today's, of course, we're talking about CDs, that we're missing in today's industry. And I've talked with so many company owners, and I've said, look, the last thing you want to do is to put all of your training online. You want to use the internet, you want to have training online, you can put video and audio, and you definitely want to do that. But you have to give people the opportunity to turn their automobile into a training university for your company. You have to give people the chance, because there's a lot of people that are driving an hour or 2 hours or a half hour every single day, and that is valuable, valuable time if you can put the training on an audio CD. And I know some of you are thinking, well, Dale, you know, today I can play my iPod through my car stereo, and I understand that and I get that, but understand this, most people don't. Did you hear what I said? It's about the masses. There's a lot of baby boomers, if you told them, I want you to play the training through your iPod in your car, they look at you like a deer standing in headlights. So we have to make it for the masses, and right now, at this point in history, it's through CDs. So training needs to be through CDs where people can listen in their car. That's a major, major secret. I saw that early on in my career, and I was just fascinated by these Amway people that were just so fired up and focused and determined about nothing, in my opinion, then and now. But they were so into what they were doing. They were so motivated, and you still see people like that today and primarily in that business. In other businesses in this industry, you don't see that kind of focus. Now, some of you remember, so anyway, when I got started in the industry, one of the things that we did was a Tape of the Week program. And some of you have seen our story where I talk about the most expensive piece of equipment I ever had in my home was a cassette tape duplicator. And I used that, and that was a big part of building our team in the beginning, and I've never, ever went away from that. Some of you remember the company that we were involved with called New Image International, and the people there, and the focus and the determination and the belief level. And I can tell you the fundamental secret to that, the fundamental secret, one of the main top 2 or 3 secrets to creating that organization was, number one, people were making money because they had a product they could take to the marketplace, retail, and put cash in their pocket. But number 2, and probably the most important, was this Tape of the Month program. We had that every month. They got a new tape, and it was sequential. Now that brings me to my next concept, and it's the concept of sequential learning. See, the CD, the tapes that we had that created such a powerful, powerful organization were sequential. And what I mean by that is at different points in a network marketer's career, they need to hear a different message. See, and it kind of goes back to, if I enter college, I take freshman classes my freshman year, I take sophomore classes my sophomore year, and there's a progression that hopefully each class builds upon the next class. In other words, I take Algebra 1 before I take Algebra 3, and I have to take Algebra 2 in the middle. So everything builds sequentially. And when training builds sequentially like that, then you create a lot more power and a lot more confidence and a lot deeper understanding in people. Again, a lot of people trying to learn algebra, and they have never mastered addition yet. So it's learning sequentially, and it's understanding that, that 90 days into the program, most people are going to start slumping. So they need to hear streak when you slump. They need that concept about 90 days into the development of their organization. That in the beginning they need to understand that that paradigm is going to, that pendulum, is going to swing back and forth, where they're going to be in an emotional yo-yo when they first get started, because John's excited, then John's not excited. And there's certain things that people need to hear at certain times as they're moving, so they can continue to move forward and really, really master this industry. And so the concept of sequential learning and the concept of being able to turn your car into a university and learning through audio CD is just critical, guys. Those are the two things. As you're putting together your organization and you're developing your training systems, you cannot overlook these two concepts. You don't want to be trying to teach advanced recruiting concepts to people that haven't talked to their next door neighbor yet to get a referral, not to sponsor the person. So it goes back to, again, we have to learn how to contact people correctly, how to contact them or market correctly. There's just things that have to be learned, and they have to be learned sequentially so they can build upon each other, and we can start developing strong leaders in this industry. So with that said, I have done this before in the past for different companies and different organizations. I've put together different training programs and CDs of the month and tapes of the month, and we've done this many times for different companies and different organizations. And I have never done this generically as a product or as a service for our clients and customers. I've never done it. And tonight I just want to introduce you guys. It's called the MLMtrainingclub.com, and it's 18 months to MLM mastery. And here's basically the program. Every month you get a new CD. It's a sequential 18-month learning system. CD number 1 is Developing Your Success Foundation. It's the same Success Foundation training I've been teaching for years. It's always number 1. Again, I know the process. I know how to start somebody from day 1 and where I need them to be in 18 months and what I have to teach them along the way. So that's kind of, again, we've refined this over many years. Also, with this program, you get a website that has support training that supports the foundational principle of the CD. So there's online training as well, a lot of online training, but the online training are modules and articles and videos that support the foundational concept of the CD, and that's what it is. And together, the website training and the CD, we're calling it the MLM Training Club. It only lasts for 18 months. It's 18 months, and in 18 months, you go through this program. In 18 months, you will know more about what it takes to develop a network marketing team than 99% of the people in the industry. Here's some people. I just want to share with you a couple testimonies from people that have gone through this program with a particular company or organization. Just some of the testimonies that we've got. Lisa, the first CD of the sequential training is wonderful. I'm listening, so I will be able to actually teach the information to somebody else. See, that's somebody that gets it. He says, thanks for your help, Dale. This is just awesome to have the training website with the CD. Is priceless. I know why I'm doing the how. Thanks so much for bringing out the true entrepreneur in me. Here's another. Dear Dale, thank you for helping me get over my frustration of building a team. I was wearing myself out with the 70%. Your training is absolutely fantastic. I listen to your CDs daily. I want you to know how much you truly appreciate it. Here's another one. Received my training CD today, and I just listened to it. It's terrific. I'm so happy to have you and your training system to help our team. You're providing exactly what was needed, and the combination of the website and the CD is powerful. I can't believe I almost let $29 a month stop me from joining the CD of the Month program. Something in my heart told me this was going to be different, and it's what I needed to get my business off the ground. I'm now making money, having fun, and it never would have happened without your sequential training. Dale, having this sequential training on CD is genius. Your understanding of human nature and personal performance goes beyond any trainer I've heard. And I've been a personal development student for nearly 40 years. This program is the best investment in network marketing make in their future. You will save them years of aggravation and frustration. Well, I certainly hope so. So I just wanted to introduce you guys to this tonight. You know, it's never too late to change your patterns, to get past, you know, where you've been, and understand your past doesn't have to equal your future. And, I mean, you can choose, any of us can choose to go back to school anytime. And if you're having success, we can really help you, because most people that are successful in this industry, you know, they get to that $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 a month, and they plateau. Sometimes they do it $10,000, sometimes it's $12,000, but the plateau comes, and there's just pieces that a lot of successful people are missing to take, you know, to get past the six-figure a year and get to six figures a month. And I know that you know, we've had a lot of successful people that we've been able to help as well. And here's a couple more testimonies I pulled. So we would have not hit the top level in our company without Dale's CD of the Month program. Most networkers peak and go as far as they can with their own talent, skills, and work ethic. Dale's training will help people, will help continue to move you forward and reach whatever success level you desire. This guy says, Dale's monthly training program is the #1 reason I became a 100,000 plus a year earner in network marketing. I was a broke football coach and school teacher when I met Dale Calvert. Following his step-by-step sequential training program enabled me to develop a $100,000 a year income, become a leader in the network marketing industry. I had no background in sales or marketing, but was able to create a $250,000 monthly income following Dale's sequential training program. I was a housewife most of my adult life. When my son graduated high school, I was looking for something to do. That's when I found Dale Calvert. Following his system, I was able to create a downline of over 20,000 distributors and $250,000 a year in income. Dale's monthly training program took my competence and leadership income to new levels. I mean, I've got so many guys. I'm not going, you know, I hate to just keep going through these. This is from Success Makers magazine. Dale Calvert's systems have created more $100,000 a year earners than any modern-day network marketing teacher, trainer, or consultant. This is kind of interesting. It says, thank you, Dale. After your several trainings and seminars in Budapest, many Hungarian networkers are following your system very successfully, starting with the concepts taught in CD #1. So I know we have people with us tonight, you know, that are outside of the United States, and, you know, you probably understand English to, if you're on this webinar, you do. So we have, it's amazing how many people we have in Hungary. It's one of our largest markets, you know, and South America and all over Europe. You know, we have a lot of great clients and customers all over the world. So it doesn't just apply to the United States, so I didn't want to mention that. We're going to cover all the topics that we talked about earlier, plus a ton more. Each month we get into one topic and we kill it, and we make sure that we give you everything you can. And people say, well, Dale, how much does it cost? And again, as Jim Rohn says, you never ask what it costs, you ask what is it worth, and what's it worth. I mean, I have clients and people that I spend an hour on the phone with. It's $500 an hour, 3-hour minimum, $1,500, and quite frankly, when I do that, I can help people in specific areas, but there's still gaps. There's gaps because I'm not able to start people from month 1, you know, to month 2, to month 3, to month 4 to build concept on concept, idea on idea. But, you know, there's no other program like what we're doing here, and it's an absolute pain for our staff, but we're going to do it right because, you know, we aren't sending the same CD to everybody every month. It's sequential, guys. You know, so we have 1,000 members. We might have, you know, 34 that need month 4, and we've got 177 that are on month 6, and we got 303 that are on month 8, and so, you know, from a workload standpoint on our end, it's going to be a hassle to do it right, but we're going to do it right. And if I wasn't going to do it right and give you sequential month by month, build upon it each month, build upon the next month, then it'd be not worth doing it. And my initial thought was to combine this type of program with a lot of my actual physical products and do a $97 a month program, and then talking to people, Dale, you need to get people in, you know, just the training club and get them plugged into the system so they understand, and that's the way you need to do it. So that's what we're doing. you can go to MLMtrainingclub.com/join to get started with us tonight, and it's $19.99 a month. That's the fee. $19.99. You get a new CD and access to the membership website training. Usually there's going to be a couple hours of training on the website every month, again, to support what the CD covers. Your first month, because I just wanted to make it, the people that are with us tonight, again, you guys have been with me a long time, and so I just wanted to make it an irresistible offer, quite frankly, and I'm not going to do any big takeaway or anything. But your first month, it's only $4.99, $4.99. Then it's $19.99 a month. You get a new CD every month along with access to the membership website. I got two notes here. If you've been a past member, let's say you were with TLC or one of the companies that we've done this for in the past, and maybe you got to month 7 and you want to start, you say, Dale, I've been through this training program before, and I had some, a lot of people have asked me to do this like this generically, so that's why I'm doing it. And some of people have got to month 6 or 7 or 3. Just when you check out, under the notes, say, start me at month 8. I was, on this particular program, if you have been in the past. And if you're brand new, then you don't have to put anything. If you're just getting started with this for the first time, that's cool. You don't need to put a thing there. Do make sure when you check out you put your company name. This is why. The company that you're involved with. The office, from time to time we'll have somebody call and they'll say, look, I'm looking at XYZ company and I love Dale's training and I want to find somebody that's teaching Dale's system that's involved in XYZ company. And sometimes we know people, we have clients and customers that, have been with us and ordered all of our training and are teaching our Start Right system and they're teaching our lead generation systems. And so sometimes we can look and we know, well, hey, Mary's involved with that company. Let's tell them about Mary. Now, again, I'm not saying you're going to get dozens of leads or anything like that from our office, but I do want to have on record what company that you're involved with, because if somebody calls, we want to be able to go in and do a search and say, yeah, look, we've got an MLM Training Club member. They're involved in that company. Here's their name and here's their phone number. And we want to be able to make sure that we do that for members of the MLM Training Club. So when you check out, make sure you do put your company name. So that's basically it, guys. You're going to get a CD every month. It's an 18-month program, then it ends. Over the 18 months, you'll get hundreds of dollars in additional training programs online as part of your membership. Like the first month, you get a copy of Why the Masses Are Frustrated, Confused, and Don't Have a Clue What They're Doing on CD. That's actually online in your member section. You'll be able to access that tonight, and your CDs will be mailed out tomorrow. And you'll be able to access this training in the members area. You'll be able to access all that tonight. Also in the members area, we have an Ask Dale section. So if you have a specific question about building, you want some help, you just leave your question there. And what my plan is, once a week at the same time, I'm going to put into my schedule an hour or whatever it takes to go in and answer these questions for you guys. When you have questions, you'll be able to ask me directly, and I will help you however I possibly can and give you some direction and support when you have specific issues that come up. So that's also included. Just to kind of recap, the MLM Training Club, it's 18 months, sequential step-by-step training. A monthly audio CD is mailed to your door. You get a members-only website with more hours of training to reinforce the lesson taught on the CD. Now, here's the key. I know what this training does for people. I've seen it. I've experienced it. I've gotten so much feedback over the years from people that have gone through it, and we've continually updated it and tweaked it as we've needed to. when you get involved with MLMtrainingclub.com/join, that's where you need to go tonight. There's an 18-month, at the end of 18 months, if you can't say, Dale, it was the best investment I've ever made in my career. If you cannot say that, there is a double your money back guarantee. Double your money. You go through it 18 months. You paid $4.99 your first month, $19.99 every month after that. At the end of 18 months, you say, Dale, I didn't learn anything. This wasn't any good. I didn't get anything out of this. You let us know, double your money back guarantee, because I know what it's going to do for you. So you go to MLMtrainingclub.com/join, get started with us. It's going to make a difference. It's going to make a major, major impact on your career. I mean, look back 18 months ago. Where were you? Where were you 18 months ago? Where were you 3 years ago? Where were you 5 years ago? Some of you have been involved in this industry longer than 5 years. What's going to be different in the 18 months, over the next 18 months? And I don't, I'm not going to sit here and just try to hard sell you on it, because it's, I'm doing this because people ask me to do this. I have some other projects that I want to do, and I'm excited to do this. I'm excited. I know, it's going to be good for a lot of people. But daggone it, if you're on here tonight, if you're on this webinar tonight, and you can get started for $4.99, and you can learn from and follow a system that's made a major impact in not just my life, but a lot of other people, and you don't do it, then, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, it's like, do you feel like you deserve success? And, there's some people just don't. They want to hang out, and the network marketing industry is a great place to hang out. But if you want to move forward and you want to make it and you want something that's going to do it for you, I mean, and it's not going to do it for you, but it'll guide you down the path. It will take you sequentially, concept by concept, idea by idea, and at the end of 18 months, you will know more about building a team than 99% of the people in network marketing. And if you don't, you get a double your money back guarantee. And I feel like I'm just trying to sell it, and I don't even need to do that, or don't even want to do that. Hopefully, guys, whether you join me tonight or not, I've given you some things to think about, and there's been a few paradigm shifts for you along the way tonight. I hope. That's been my hope for you. I look forward to seeing you in the members area, and again, if you do have questions at any time, you can go in there, ask Dale, and I will respond. I might not respond within 24 hours, maybe not within 48 hours, but I am going to work it into my schedule to once a week minimum, maybe twice a week, respond to you guys as quickly as I possibly can and to help you. And, of course, you can always call our office if you have any technical issues at all. They're there every day. I appreciate you being with me tonight. I hope I've given you some things to think about. Look forward to having you with us as part of the MLM Training Club. And we're making some major changes in our business, and we're doing a lot of things. We're just changing around, and this is one of the first steps. We've got other things that we're going to be doing in the future as well. I've got about 200 hours of video training and, over 20,000 pages of articles and booklets and all kinds of information that I need to put in modules like this that can really help people. But this is kind of the foundation for the first 18 months to really take people from, mediocrity to a confidence level that very few people are able to achieve in this industry. So I appreciate you being with us. Have a great week. I'm going to be in Oklahoma City this weekend doing an event there. Hopefully some of you will be at that event. Look forward to seeing you there. And if I don't see you then, I look forward to seeing you at a live event, sometime soon, or definitely in the members area of MLM Training Club. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for being with us. Good night.